Today I'm going to be making one of my grandmother's favorite peanut butter pie recipes. Now you need to start out with a baked crust. I've done a previous video on how to make a good lard crust, so you're welcome to use that recipe for your crust, or any crust will do and you only need one. So to start out this recipe, you make a nice peanut butter crumble for the bottom of the pie. To do that, you start out with 1 cup of powdered sugar. To the 1 cup of powdered sugar, you add 1/2 cup of peanut butter. Coat the peanut butter just a little bit before you get your fingers in to start making them all messy. And then you just start crumbling this, kind of like if you were making pie crust. Just start crumbling it into pieces. Okay, the next step in the process of preparing our crust is to place our crumbles of peanut butter and powdered sugar in the bottom of our pie crust. I like to save about a little over 1/2 cup to place on top of the pie as well. So spread those around evenly in the bottom of the crust. Set aside the rest for the top of the crust. And next we're going to make the filling. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is prepare our filling, and you're going to add 1 1/2 cups of milk to a saucepan over medium heat and let that begin to warm. While that's warming, we're going to take 3 tablespoons of flour and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, which I've already mixed together in this small cup. And we're going to take 1/2 cup of our milk, pour it into the bowl, and mix it well with our whisk. After we get this mixed up, we're just going to set this aside for a little bit, and we'll add that to our mixture later. Then we're going to add 1/3 cup of sugar to our milk and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to stir that until the milk is warm and the sugar is dissolved. Then we're going to add our egg yolk. Two egg yolks that I beat a little bit already, so it's easier to mix it into the milk. Then we're going to add our flour, milk, and cornstarch mixture. Now we're just going to go ahead and stir this over medium heat until it begins to thicken. After we turn off the heat to our mixture, after it's gotten fairly thick, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, And stir that until it's mixed well. That is going to cool our mixture just enough to be able to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Stir that in well as also. And now we're ready to put that in our pie crust. Okay, the next step is to place our cooked mixture into our pie crust. We're just going to pour this right in there out of the pan. And smooth it over the top of the crumbles in the bottom of the crust. Now sometimes I will top this with a mixture of whipped egg whites and sugar. But for today, I'm going to use a different option, and I'm just going to cover this with Cool Whip. Of course, before we can put Cool Whip on top of this, it has to cool. So we're going to wait for that, and we'll be back when the pie is cool and ready for the Cool Whip. Okay, the final process to making our pie after the filling is all cooled is to top it with some whip topping. So I will stir this up a little bit so it's good and creamy. Place the whip topping on top of the pie and spread it around. Be generous with this part. It's very good. Then sprinkle the top with the rest of your leftover peanut butter and sugar crumbles. And there you have it. There is a delicious homemade peanut butter pie. Cut it into slices and enjoy.